Gsac family, welcome to another Dr. Wade Monday here at Gsac. And as we have stepped into the fall season, we want to talk to Dr. Wade about what do animal owners need to do for their animals in the fall season. So Dr. Wade, good morning. So what do people need to do about their animals now that we're out of summer and went into the fall season?
Well, one of the things that we want to remind everybody is that September is Rabies Vaccine Awareness Month. So if you have not gotten your pet up to date on their rabies vaccine, please call and schedule an appointment to do so now. The rabies vaccine is so important because of the fact that rabies is considered a zoonotic disease. And what that means is it's a disease that animals can transmit to human beings. So if a dog gets exposed to rabies and then it's in your home, it could potentially expose you to rabies, right? So we want to make sure that your dog and your cat are protected against rabies vaccine. They can contract the rabies vaccine from other animals that are rabies positive. Wildlife animals like raccoons and possums, groundhogs. So if you have a large dog or if you have a small dog that likes to chase after things that pass through your lawn, you want to make sure that that pet is up to date on their rabies. If you go to the dog park, you want to make sure your dog is protected because the dogs that it interacts with may not be up to date on their rabies vaccine. So if you have a dog bite situation, then we have to go through the process of trying to verify everyone's rabies information, and so it can be a bit of a hassle in that regard. So the same thing for cats, even if they do not go outside, there's the potential that bats might come in, or that another cat that frequents your property outside might somehow get indoors. Now that the weather is changing, they might be seeking shelter or enclosures. So we want to make sure that your pet is protected in the event that it may come in contact with another animal that is not up to date on its rabies vaccine. The other thing that we want to be mindful of is even though the summer is out, ticks are still a problem during the fall, as well as fleas. Fleas are a problem all year round. So you do not want to slack up on your flea and tick prevention. You still want to maintain that coverage for your pet. So make sure that you keep them on an adequate and an effective flea and tick control product.
Okay, Dr. Wade, you said a few things there, but let me ask you, what about like you have wild animals walking through your property and they urinate and you step in the urination? Is that anything transmissible by that way?
That's a very good point. So the other core vaccine, in addition to the rabies, is called the distemper parvo combination shot, or the DHPP or DHLPP. So the DHLPP, the L stands for lepto, or leptospirosis, which is a bacterial infection that can be transmitted by small mammals, rodents, mice, rats, raccoons, possums, squirrels. And so if you live in an area where you're seeing these small mammals or if they're coming onto your property, especially if the dog is a hunter and they might chase down or bite into the flesh of one of those animals, they could be at risk for exposure to lepto. And so those small mammals, they carry the bacteria, but they can transmit it to your pet, and that could be a serious infection. So we want to make sure that they're protected by vaccinating them against leptospirosis.
Okay. Now we have gotten calls for the influenza shot. What is that about? And is that something that is needed?
So the influenza vaccine, if you kind of think about how we had the COVID viral epidemic and things of that nature, or pandemic actually. So fortunately we moved out of the pandemic stage and now it's not as much of a global threat, but it's still around. And so vaccinating, people are getting their COVID vaccine to protect them. They're talking about reemergence of different strains of that virus coming back. So we have to be mindful of our hygiene, hand hygiene, and things of that nature. But for animals, the influenza or dog flu virus is something that's transmitted through respiratory droplets and through contact through positive infected dogs. So if your dog is very social, they go to doggy daycare centers, they go to the dog park, they board frequently. Some of the boarding facilities are starting to require that vaccine. A few months back, sometime I guess maybe in the spring, we did get some information from the University of Penn Veterinary Hospital that they had seen an uptick in cases. And so at that time, because of the high incidence of cases in their ER facility, that they were recommending animal owners kind of discouraged from interactions with other dogs. So they were kind of recommending social distancing for the dog, so to speak, right? So they were discouraging them from doing unnecessary doggy gatherings. So if you didn't have to go out of town, you could stay, keep your dog home as opposed to letting them go to dog daycare facilities. So if you are in a situation where you travel a lot and you need to board your dog, you want to ask the boarding facility if they require the influenza vaccine, and if so, then you would get the dog vaccinated. So that vaccine is a 2-shot series for dogs that have never had it before. So you would bring the dog in for their initial vaccine, and then 2 weeks later they would get a booster. After that, the influenza vaccine is given annually on an as-needed basis. So if your dog is not a social dog and it's staying home and it's not really interacting with other dogs, it doesn't necessarily need it. It's not considered a core vaccine, but it is one of those that, depending on the dog's lifestyle, may be something to consider.
Okay. Well, Dr. Wade, thank you for that. When you're not here at Gsac, how can people reach you? You have a website, what's your phone number, your address? Can you give that information out, please?
Sure. So when I'm not here with my friends at Gsac, you can find me at Wyncote Animal Hospital. We're located in West Oak Lane, 6701 Wyncote Avenue in Philadelphia, PA. And our website is www.wyncoteanimalhospital.com. And our phone number is 215-224-2764.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Wade. You have a great rest of the day, and we'll catch up with you next time.
You are